Welcome to Calm Mind English. Some people feel calm during the busy part of the day, but the moment everything becomes quiet, their mind starts speaking too much. The room is still, the work is done, and there is no clear problem. But inside, something begins to move. It can feel confusing because nothing new has happened. This is why your mind can feel loud when your life gets quiet. During the day, your attention has many places to go. You answer messages, move from one task to another, listen to people, make small decisions, and keep your body moving. Even if the day is not dramatic, it gives your mind a structure. There is always something outside of you asking for a response. But when the day slows down, that structure disappears. The noise from outside becomes softer. The phone may be on the table, the lights may be lower, and nobody is asking you to do anything for a moment. That is when the thoughts you could not hear earlier begin to rise. It may start with something small, a sentence you said in the afternoon, a look someone gave you, a task you forgot, a message you did not answer perfectly. At first, it seems like one thought, but soon it connects to another one. Your mind begins to walk through the day again, checking, replaying, and trying to understand what everything meant. This does not always mean something is wrong with you. It often means your mind has been holding many small things without enough time to process them. While you were busy, you were not free to feel every feeling fully. You had to keep going. So your mind placed those feelings somewhere in the background. Then quietness arrives, and the background becomes louder. Imagine someone coming home after a normal day. Nothing terrible happened. They ate dinner, washed the dishes, and sat down on the couch. The apartment is quiet. At first, the silence feels peaceful, but after a few minutes, their chest feels slightly heavy. They remember an unfinished conversation. They think about tomorrow. They wonder if they are falling behind. They pick up their phone, not because they truly want to scroll, but because the quiet has become too full. Many people think the phone is the main problem. Sometimes it is part of the problem, but often the phone is only the fastest escape. The real discomfort begins before the screen turns on. It begins in the moment, when the mind has no outside noise to cover what it has been carrying. A quiet room can feel simple, but emotionally, it can be very revealing. It removes the distractions that helped you feel normal. It gives your inner world more space. If your mind has been tense all day, silence may not feel peaceful right away. It may feel like a room where every hidden sound becomes easier to hear. This is why some people stay busy even when they are tired. They clean one more thing, check one more message, watch one more video, or plan one more detail for tomorrow. They are not always trying to be productive. Sometimes they are trying not to be alone with the noise inside. But the loudness of the mind is not always an enemy. It can also be a signal. It may be saying, there are parts of today that still need a little attention. Not a full analysis. Not a long emotional investigation. Just a small space where the mind can place down what it has been carrying. The mistake is believing that silence should feel calm immediately. For many people, silence first reveals the tension that busyness covered. Calm may come later, but at the beginning, quietness can feel messy. It can show you how much you were managing without noticing. When your mind gets loud, you may feel tempted to fight it. You may tell yourself to stop thinking, stop worrying, stop being sensitive. But pressure often makes the mind louder. It is like trying to force a crowded room to become silent. By shouting over it, the noise does not disappear. It only becomes more tense. A softer approach begins with naming what is happening. You can quietly say to yourself, my mind is catching up with the day. This simple sentence changes the meaning of the moment. Instead of seeing your thoughts as proof that you are unstable, you see them as delayed information arriving late. There is a difference between a dangerous thought and an unfinished thought. A dangerous thought demands immediate fear. An unfinished thought asks for space, order, and patience. Most loud thoughts at night are not emergencies. They are fragments of the day looking for a place to settle. So when life gets quiet and your mind becomes loud, you do not have to solve every thought. You can begin by understanding why the volume increased. The outside world became still, so the inside world became easier to hear. That is not failure. That is awareness arriving after a busy day. And awareness can feel uncomfortable before it becomes helpful. There is a quiet kind of delay that happens inside many people. During the day, they seem fine. They smile when someone talks to them. They finish their work. They answer questions, make decisions, move through traffic, prepare food, take care of what needs to be done. From the outside, nothing looks unusual. But the mind is not only doing the visible tasks. It is also absorbing tone, pressure, disappointment, small embarrassment, worry, and the feeling of being rushed. Some of these things are too small to stop for. Some are too familiar to notice. So the mind does not process them in the moment. It stores them quietly. This is why a feeling can appear at night even when the event happened hours earlier. You may remember a short conversation from the morning. At the time, you did not react. You had other things to do, so you moved on. But later, when the room is quiet, the same conversation returns. You begin to wonder if you sounded strange, if the other person misunderstood you, or if you should have said something different. The feeling was not created at night. It was only delayed until night. This delay can happen because daily life often rewards control. You cannot stop in the middle of every task to fully understand what you feel. You may have to keep working. You may have to stay polite. You may have children to care for, bills to think about, messages to answer, or responsibilities that do not wait until you feel ready. So the mind becomes skilled at postponing emotion. Postponed emotion is not fake emotion. It is real, but it arrives later than the moment that caused it. This is why people sometimes feel sad after a normal day, irritated after a calm evening, or anxious when nothing urgent is happening. The nervous system may be finally releasing what it could not complete earlier. Think of a person who spends the whole day being reasonable. They do not complain. They do not show frustration. They handle small problems one by one. A coworker speaks coldly, but they stay calm. A plan changes, but they adjust. A family member needs something, so they respond. They tell themselves it is not a big deal. Then late at night, they lie in bed and feel strangely heavy. There is no single clear reason. The heaviness feels bigger than the events themselves. But the body knows something the schedule did not allow. It knows how much effort it took to stay composed all day. This is where many people misunderstand themselves. They think, why am I reacting now? Why can I not just relax? Why does my mind make problems when the day is already over? But the mind may not be making new problems. It may be returning to old moments that were passed too quickly. A quiet evening can become the first honest space of the day. No one is asking for a performance. No one needs an immediate answer. Your face can relax. Your body can stop pretending it has unlimited energy. And when that happens, the feelings that were waiting underneath begin to come forward. This can feel inconvenient. It can feel unfair. You finally get time to rest, and instead of peace, you get thoughts. But the timing makes sense. The mind often brings unresolved material to the surface when it believes you are no longer in survival mode. The problem begins when every delayed feeling is treated like a crisis. A thought comes up, and you chase it. Another feeling appears, and you try to explain your whole life through it. One memory becomes evidence that something is wrong with you, or with your future, or with your relationships. Soon, a small emotional delay becomes a long mental storm. The goal is not to ignore the storm. The goal is to reduce how quickly you turn it into a conclusion. A feeling arriving late does not always need a decision. Sometimes it needs to be noticed gently and placed in the right size. You might say, this is leftover tension from today. Or, this is my mind replaying something because I had no time to feel it earlier. These sentences do not erase the feeling, but they keep it from becoming larger than it needs to be. It can also help to separate thinking from processing. Thinking often tries to solve everything with words. It asks why, what if, what does this mean, what should I do now? Processing is slower. It allows the body and mind to recognize what happened without forcing a fast answer. Processing may look like sitting quietly for a few minutes, writing down one sentence, drinking water, or simply admitting that the day took more from you than you realized. When emotions are delayed, the body may speak before the mind understands. Your shoulders may feel tight. Your stomach may feel unsettled. Your eyes may feel tired even if you are not sleepy. These physical signs can be part of the same unfinished process. So instead of asking only, "What am I thinking about?" you can also ask, "What did my body carry today?" Maybe it carried pressure. Maybe it carried patience. Maybe it carried a conversation where you had to stay calm. Maybe it carried the quiet disappointment of not having enough time for yourself. These are not dramatic things, but they are real things. A mind that gets loud at night may be a mind trying to organize delayed emotion. It is not always asking you to panic. It may be asking you to finally listen with less judgment. When you understand this, quietness becomes less mysterious. The late thoughts are not random enemies. They are visitors from the day, arriving after the house has become quiet enough to hear the door. And when you stop treating every visitor as a threat, the night can slowly become less frightening. The goal is not to make your mind silent by force. A quiet mind is not created by pushing every thought away. It is created by helping the mind feel safe enough to lower its voice. This takes practice, especially if your quiet moments have often turned into overthinking. For some people, silence feels uncomfortable because it arrives too suddenly. The day is full of movement, noise, messages, work, and responsibility. Then night comes, and everything drops at once. The contrast is too sharp. The mind does not know how to shift from full speed into stillness in one moment. This is why the transition matters. Imagine ending the day with no bridge. You close the laptop, turn off the light, lie down, and expect your mind to become peaceful. But inside, the mind is still moving at the speed of the day. It is still carrying unfinished words, small stress, and the habit of responding. The body is in bed, but the nervous system has not arrived there yet. A softer evening begins with creating a small bridge between activity and rest. This bridge does not have to be special. It can be a cup of water. It can be washing your face slowly. It can be dimming one light. It can be sitting for 2 minutes before opening another screen. The point is not to build a perfect routine. The point is to give your mind a clear signal that the day is ending gently. Many people avoid silence because silence feels empty, but silence becomes easier when it has a simple shape. A completely open quiet room may feel too wide for a tired mind. A small routine gives the quiet a boundary. It tells the mind, we are not falling into emptiness. We are entering rest. This is also why the phone can feel so powerful at night. The phone gives immediate structure. It fills the empty space with color, sound, movement, and other people's voices. For a few minutes, your own thoughts become less noticeable. But when the screen finally goes away, the mind may feel even louder because it never had the chance to settle. You do not have to remove every distraction perfectly. A strict rule can become another pressure. But you can create a small pause before the distraction. Before picking up the phone, you might sit and ask, what am I trying not to feel right now? The answer does not need to be deep. Maybe it is boredom. Maybe it is loneliness. Maybe it is the leftover stress of the day. Naming the feeling gives the mind a little order. A loud mind often becomes louder when everything inside is mixed together. One worry blends with one memory, then with one fear about tomorrow, then with one judgment about yourself. It becomes a cloud. Naming separates the cloud into smaller pieces. You might notice, this is worry about tomorrow. This is regret from today. This is tiredness. This is the need for comfort. Each name creates a little space. The thoughts may still be there, but they are no longer one large, shapeless noise. A simple writing habit can help, but it should stay simple. Write 3 lines, not a full analysis. 1 line for what happened today. 1 line for what is still on your mind. 1 line for what can wait until tomorrow. This gives the mind a place to put things down without turning the evening into a long mental debate. For example, someone might write, "Today felt busy, even though nothing major happened. I am still thinking about the message I sent. It can wait until tomorrow morning." These sentences are plain, but plain is often what the mind needs at night. The mind does not always need inspiration. Sometimes it needs clear, ordinary permission to stop working. Your body also needs a role in quietness. If your body stays tense, your thoughts may keep searching for a reason. Softening the jaw, lowering the shoulders, stretching the hands, or slowing down your steps can tell the nervous system that the day is no longer asking for performance. The body can teach the mind that the moment is safer than it feels. Quietness becomes easier when it is repeated in small doses. You do not need to sit alone with your thoughts for a long time. Start with 1 minute, then 2. Let the room be quiet without demanding that your mind become perfect. The practice is not silence without thought. The practice is staying present while thought is there. Over time, the mind learns a new pattern. Quiet does not always mean danger. Quiet does not always mean loneliness. Quiet does not always mean you must review your entire life. Quiet can become a place where the day slowly lands. There will still be evenings when your mind feels loud. That does not mean you failed. It may simply mean the day had more weight than you noticed. On those nights, make the room gentle. Lower the stimulation. Put one thought into words. Let tomorrow hold what belongs to tomorrow. You do not have to answer every thought before you rest. Picture a room at night with one soft light on. The day is over. A glass of water sits beside you. Your mind is not completely silent, but it is no longer being chased. One small action is enough for tonight. Let the quiet become a place where your mind can slowly come home.